The second part of this is for us to go ahead and work through some more barn improvement projects. Okay? So in addition to painting the gable ends, stuff defined in part 1, okay, we're looking to replace the roof of the barn. Okay? The roofing shingles that you're planning on using come in bundles that cover 33.7 square feet. And with the barn's measurements from problem 6, and they're kind of copied here, okay, we can add the fact that we know that the barn's depth is 62 feet. Okay? So the question becomes, how many bundles of shingles will we need? Okay? So some important notes in here. Okay? We need to recognize what we need to actually put the shingles into the roof portions. Okay? And we know that the roof has 2 sides. Okay. So what we have to recognize is we can copy some of our information from before. We know the height, okay, is the 6.6 meters. Okay. We know that we can divide the shape up. Okay. And we know that we still have that symmetry. Okay. And that's going to matter in a moment, because what we need to find out, okay, is what's the length of these 2 sides. Okay. And this is where we have to remember Pythagorean's theorem. Okay. And Pythagorean's theorem is basically that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay. And the length of these, the hypotenuses, needs to be c squared, because some of the things that we don't know. Okay? We don't know if that's actually a right angle. Okay? We don't know any of these angles, actually. Okay? We could calculate them, but we're not quite touching on that level of math yet. So what we can do is we can divide this triangle in half, which gives us the right angle that we need for Pythagorean's theorem to work. Okay? And we know that we're basically dividing that in half. Okay? 11.9 divided by 2 is a value of 5.95. Okay? So in our triangle, okay, we're basically saying this is 5.9 meters. This is going to be the 6.6 meters. And this is going to be our c squared value. Okay? So good practice, just because we're working with a calculator. Okay? We'll take the square root of both sides, so we end up with c. Okay? So the square root of a squared plus b squared equals c. We simply put 6.6 meters into a, plus the 5.9 meters squared, and calculator wise, so square root of 6.6 squared plus 5.9 squared. And that means that c, for us anyways, is equal to 8.85 meters. Which brings us to our next issue. Okay, and this is something that you always have to kind of be cautious of when you're doing engineering math, and that is paying attention to the units that you're working with. Okay, so let's think back to that barn portion. Okay, we know that we're looking at this rectangular shape. Okay. So with this rectangular shape, okay, we're recognizing that this is 62 feet wide, and even though it's not quite shown exactly, okay, the length along that, okay, not to scale, is going to be 8.85 meters. Okay, but the problem is with a metric system and the U.S. customary system, we need to choose one side or the other to start working with. Okay, now because our last part of the problem, okay, is how many bundles of shingles will we need, and the information we know about the bundles come in 33.4 square feet units, we probably want to go from meters to feet. Okay. So if you think back, okay, or if you look it up, okay, you should recognize that the unit to foot, or the meter to foot relationship, okay, is 1 meter equals 3.28 feet. Okay. So 8.85 meters times 3.28 feet over 1 meter. Meters get canceled out, and 8.85 times 3.28 gives us 29.0 to, sorry, sometimes hard to see it over the camera, but 8 feet. Okay, so that's the length, okay, interchangeable with the 8.2 or 8.5 meters. So to find the area, okay, on one side, is going to be equal to the 29.028 meters, or sorry, feet, times the 62 feet, and then we'll know that we'll double that to get both sides, but we'll go ahead and take care of the surface area of one side first. So it's starting to get to be a fairly large number. This is 1799.75 times 2 means that we have a total area of 3,599.47 square feet. And our conversion factor tells us that one bundle is the same as 33.4 square feet. Okay, so square feet will cancel out. We now take that, divide by the 33.4, and we realize that we end up needing 107.8 bundles. However, as mentioned before with the paint, okay, we need to recognize that we do need to kind of round upwards. Okay, there are going to be some flaws, there'll be some broken parts, so for us to cover both sides of the roof, okay, with the bundles, the shingles that we need, okay, we actually need to get a total of 108 bundles. Okay, bare minimum amount. Okay, so hope this all kind of helps. I know these are a couple of deep concepts in terms of looking out for unit conversions, but also recognizing the different geometries that may be needed as you're working through a problem, and thinking about that real-world application. Okay, but even though we found different steps, that helped us along in the process, okay, you have to pay attention to those little details. Okay, so as always, I hope the engineering math helped you out here. If you need some additional help, if you have other questions that you want me to approach, let me know, leave a comment, send a message. But hope this helps, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.